Hello and welcome, and thank you for joining us for our very first evening held on Hurt. This is exciting. I'll just give you a little intro as to where Mel and I have been really quick, and then Mel can say her piece. You may have seen that we haven't held any for a few weeks, and that is because we've been traveling, school holidays, family, personal things, lots of just travel and school holidays mostly. And so I think, did we just lose someone? That's okay, we'll keep going. Um, so yeah, we've been traveling and lots of things. Mel and I met for the first time in person in Sydney, yay! And yeah, just school holidays happens, and I think it's really important that Mel and I embody what we share with you guys. And that is that our family comes first and being present over school holidays comes first. But as we were saying, Kim, Mel and I first met for the first time over the school holidays in Sydney. And that was really exciting. So, because we've just had school holidays and travel, that is why we have not been on Held and Heard for a few weeks. And that's exciting. We're excited to be back with a new sort of way of doing Held and Heard that can meet the needs of many mums, hopefully in the future, and including our own, selves and embodying that we are also present with our own family when we need to be as well. So for some families, it might be easier to join an evening call with us. It's okay. Kim, Zoom does its own thing sometimes, so it's fine. Um, and yeah, so we're just really excited if you've made the effort to come in the evening. I know for some of us it's tricky to do so, but we really appreciate that moving forward. Some fortnights we will have an evening call, and some fortnights we will have a morning call. And once we have a proper scheduling calendar up, which we are going to put together this evening, we will send that out to everyone so you know calls you can make it to or not and what suits you. And yeah, just thank you so much for joining us again. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much, Elise. How exciting. I'm just gonna pop in the chat. The next Held and Heard will be on the 13th of August in the morning. So we're gonna do alternate like times and have like 8 o'clock Wednesday one week and then Thursday morning at
Hmm.
say 9:30 or 10 o'clock the next fortnight though. So it won't be weekly, it'll be fortnightly.
Yeah.
And the idea is just to get like a pattern of momentum going along with just really do some things in person and with each other. Elise and I have just been reflecting on what could help mums in the best way possible to
Yeah.
achieve the goal that we have. So, welcome everyone. If you're listening to the replay, I would love if you could come over to Mel Marie Stapleton or Elise, the Mindfulness Mama, and
Yeah.
literally just say that you listen to the replay. I'm not sure what tangent this particular call will go on. We have a bit of a topic, but often these calls don't actually go in like a straight line, like a train track. It's more like a wavy line, like a twisty,
Mhm.
which I think is so okay.
A bit like how my brain went. I reckon if you took a photo of my brain, that might be what it looked like inside.
Like a twist. I feel like a lot of mums would feel like that, at least you're not alone.
Hmm.
Firstly, before we go any further, if you're watching, what are you drinking, Elise? Is that carrot juice? Tell me what you're drinking.
It's carrot, apple, ginger, and turmeric. I'd like to pretend that I made this myself, but it's not. It's the brand I always drink. The
Mm.
Impressed juice, and the reason I like this brand for anyone that drinks juice is that, well, a lot of juices are full of sugar, and I'm aware that they are. This juice is actually a cold pressed juice.
Yeah, which
Um,
means there's no added sugar.
yeah, so any of the sugar that is in it is probably naturally derived from the fruits or vegetables in it. So Specifically, these ingredients are really good for like anti-inflammatory and also, as Mel and I spoke about today, a lot of us mamas are low in iron, so we need to be storing all that goodness in our body any way we can. But as Mel knows, I sometimes add a bit of coconut water in. So that's what I'm drinking.
Amazing. Okay, cool. Sorry that I went off in a tangent there.
There's the wiggly line already, but it's fine.
Yeah,
You're probably
yeah,
wondering why it's such a bright color.
yeah. It's such a. I think the child in me was like, "Ooh, it's orange."
It's so vibrant. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes.
actually
Okay.
called the Ginger Ninja Juice, which perfect.
Because Elise is a natural redhead.
Hmm.
In case you didn't know.
And that was my
Anyway,
nickname for like all through high school. Everyone called me that.
Ginger Ninja.
Or there were other nicknames too, but that's probably
Oh,
a preferred one to other nicknames.
oh God. We all had a time, didn't we? Anyway,
Let's keep
that's why we're
going.
here. Yeah. So we want to talk about nervous system regulation and dysregulation and being like calm all the time, gentle parenting, conscious parenting is such like I feel it's far away. It's not actually within us to achieve it. And I think there's so many conversations we're having currently
Hmm.
about like what is right and what is not. And so I wanted to raise the topic and talk about what we mean when we say calm and what we're actually saying when we're trying to calm ourselves so we can co-regulate with our children. Do you have anything that you want to raise before we go into that, Elise?
So I'm going to bring up my quote or slogan or
Okay, yeah.
whatever we want to call it. It's my little quote that I always say. And it's about
Yeah.
finding your calm. So, what's calm for you? What's calm for the person listening? What's calm for me? Your calm what might not be the same as how I perceive calm to begin with. And that's something I've learnt through um, speaking to loads of mums is what they perceive to be calm to begin with is a whole thing. Because some mums might perceive a calm home as one that's clean, whereas I might perceive a calm home is when we're calm and connected and regulated and playful and joyful and different states of being is calm for me, but that's because I've gone from anxiety to the person I am now. So I always say find your calm within the chaos of motherhood. Within the chaos, I'll leave it in the chat.
I literally just wrote it.
Oh, yeah, you did. Sorry. I was like
That's
half writing
okay.
it at the same time. But it's calm within the chaos of motherhood, or you're calm, because what the listener might hear, whoever plays this back, um, as calm, or what you, Mel, perceive as calm, or even what my spouse perceives as calm is not going to always be the same thing. And it can often, like you mentioned, gentle parenting, conscious parenting. I think the you and I spoke about this a little bit yesterday, is because it always sort of circles in news outlets and things like that. I think the reason it feels unattainable is because generationally the pendulum has swung the complete opposite way to where it once was in what we know about parenting, what we know about motherhood, what we know about caring for mothers in motherhood, and what we know about like raising children and child development has swung. I could take it down a twisty turn and rabbit hole about different theories about child development and things like that, but it swung the opposite way of what it used to be. You know, we used to have like the Frober methods of raising children, like the cold the original term of autism, which we now call neurodiversity, was actually originally called wet mother syndrome or cold mother syndrome because it was perceived to be that you had that condition if if a child was being raised with a cold mother. But at the time, all the parenting advice or developmental knowledge was based around lots of like behavioralism models, which was cried out, Verba method, all those types of things. So we were raising colder families than the connected, calm nervous system regulation conversations that we're having today did not exist hundreds of years ago, right? The conversations just
Yeah.
weren't there. And so a lot of the time they labeled neurodiverse people as being raised by what they called like the refrigerator children. Yeah, interesting fun fact. But so yeah, I think when we talk about how it feels unattainable, it's because we were raised from the parents of the children of those methods that I just mentioned, right? And now we were raised from parents and grandparents from like depression and the war and survival to now we're almost like kind of swung back that way, but knowledge and science has evolved along the way in between all that. Like we're not currently in depression and war, but we're kind of in a recession and families are struggling in similar ways, but the knowledge has evolved along the way to make like
Yeah. I'd
if that
say
makes
that like
does that make sense what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
yeah, 100%. Kim, please butt in or ask any
Yeah,
questions
you
when you
know
can.
that
If
you
yeah,
can join in whenever you feel you need to.
or whenever your kids are okay. What I want to say though is that there's so much like we have these things that have so much noise
Mm-hmm.
literally right to our brains that
Yeah.
that actually I'm trying to word this gently. That like
Say it.
sometimes if we aren't aware of what we're scrolling through and what we're watching, what we're taking in. I was
Mm.
watching, okay, let's digress. Let's digress a second. I was watching Diary of a CEO, so Stephen Bartlett, his
Oh yeah, yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
And I can't remember who he had on, but he was saying that social media, like it was an old guy who created LinkedIn. It was the guy that created LinkedIn, whoever he is, was
Oh.
saying that he is literally concerned for where the world is going in the next 10 to 20 years because there's not going to be jobs like we know them now. There won't be 9 to 5s at all. He's like, and while I'm not like concerned about that, what I am concerned about is the people that aren't consistently learning and growing and understanding what is happening and being aware are actually
Mm.
going to have nothing, while the people that are aware are going to have everything. They'll become like the elite, right? And after like listening to like it was just a snippet. I didn't go and listen to the 3 hour podcast because I didn't have the time. But what I want to
Yeah.
say is that we are literally rewiring our own brains through the algorithm of what we watch. We literally were having
Mm.
a chat to a coach today who was literally saying you have to get someone to watch your reel from the start to the end. And I was saying that I didn't watch her reel from the start to the end. I was like, oh, you play guitar, cool. And then kept going.
Which,
And
mind you, that particular reel we were speaking about on that call was maybe like a 3 to 6 second reel. Like it wasn't even a very long reel.
yeah, so
Like,
I literally just skipped it because I was like, I don't really care if you sung a song,
like,
cool chat. Like
yeah.
it's interesting, but it's not like something that I want to listen to on Instagram right now, right? But what I'm saying is if you tell Instagram that you're interested in like so because I'm interested in what I'm talking about, Stephen Bartlett, Diary of a CEO, that kind of stuff keeps occurring on my feed, right? But then I know Glenn, my husband, is consistently getting jokes. It's literally like joke, 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 joke,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's what he
Like my
listens all the way.
partner's sweet too. Yeah, it's all this random
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
all jokes. There's no like, he's like, from social media. Am I frozen? No. Are you good,
It,
Elise? You were just
yeah,
frozen.
it glitched for a moment and then it wasn't. I was like, what's happening? Okay,
Am
keep
I still good,
going.
Kim? Oh,
Yep.
are you good? Yeah. So what I'm trying to say though is this guy was then going on to say that social media, the news as it is currently, etc., is literally rewiring our brains. So when we talk about like mum life, like let's rein it back in and talk about mum life and being calm within like our literal our state of being, not necessarily like just feeling calm, but feeling all of the feelings and coming back to calm. If we're talking about that, chances are that someone funny that's that makes people laugh and feel good is going to override us. I just lost my train of thought. Um, oh my gosh.
I think what you're trying to say though is also having discernment of our like what we are consuming and being able to take on board the advice that aligns for us or doesn't align for us. You know, we were having a chat just yesterday about how something in the news was like the video of the mum and her kid climbing on the like counter at like what looked like a bakery or a donut shop or a coffee shop or something. And he like didn't even climb up high on the bed. Like, I don't know, maybe my perception of what's behavior as well is very different to what other people perceive as behavior. But I mean, we all know that I live with like the wild things. So, you know that book where the wild things are? I swear I love that book when I was a kid.
We used to have a costume for James where the wild things are costume and I used
Oh,
to
cute,
dress him
cute.
in it all of the
Yeah.
time. All
Anyway,
of the time.
because I'm so used to being around children so often from like my previous job before coaching and now like my own children, I just like my expectation of what behavior should always be is very different to many. But in this video, I when I saw it, my hot take was like take zone out a little bit and let's stop saying that gentle parenting does or doesn't work, or this style's best, or this style's best, or this style's best. Like we obviously know the difference between like what's safe behavior and not safe behavior, right? What we're trying to do is help mums create a space of knowing within, self-worth within, feeling good enough within, with all of the noise that is being created on social media, like a reel telling us that we're doing a shitty job because our kids didn't listen the very first time we told them to do something. And then all of that noise can then totally impact if you're a mum that's living, like I know an old version of me would have been like, I really want to be this calmer version. I really want to be more gentle. I really want to feel more calm within my nervous system. Like I probably didn't say I want to be calm in my nervous system. I just would have said, I wish I felt like XYZ, you know? But I would have seen a reel like that or a news article like that, and I would have like been affected by it because I would have been like, I'm so tired of the world telling mums that they're not good enough. And I feel like social media can sometimes do that too. Um,
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah. Yeah.
like, and that's what I was kind of trying to get at with my hot take on that gentle parenting thing we were talking about yesterday was let's stop telling parents that they're doing this wrong or they're doing that wrong or they're doing that. Like, obviously, developmental knowledge is important. Like I said, we've completely come far away from like cold mother syndrome to now gentle parenting, the total opposite. But like, um, let's stop telling mums that even when they're trying to be a gentler mum, they're still getting it wrong because they took their eye off their kid for 0.01 millisecond and that kid climbed halfway up a counter, which, mind you, he's probably gone, Hey, mum, can I have that cookie there? And someone behind's gone, Shit, mum. I don't know, I've taken a bit off par, but you get what I'm like trying to say. Like,
Yeah.
social media can make us feel like we're not doing good enough because every next thing you see about motherhood is including us telling like the message we put out there as well. sometimes is like mums should do this or mums should do this, or if you do this, you'll feel like this. I think every next reel they see is telling them what they should or shouldn't do, but like you're trying to get at is what becomes attainable for mums.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think in real time, like I think like with what we do within coaching is real time support. Because every scenario, like I said, your calm is not the same as my calm because our household, our family values, our children's needs, they're all going to be different. My needs, my health needs are different to yours. My child's needs are different to yours. Like no one household is the same.
Yeah.
So,
Also, like the level of that was definitely my mouth that made that noise. Yeah. I
I
apologize.
thought it was your
Um,
pen.
but the level of I'm trying to think of the word without being like clinical. Um, the level of like chaos, the level of
Mm.
chaos that you can withstand in any given day is different. So
Yeah.
like and we're all like at the age where we're either premenopausal, potentially menopausal, or have a period or whatever. So that means that like my chaos level that I can handle today was different today compared to last Wednesday. And the Wednesday before that was different again. Like over a 4 week period, I can handle different levels of chaos without losing my bananas, or with like sometimes I do lose my bananas. But the message that we really want to drive home with this particular topic is that you are allowed to feel like your house is an absolute shit show, and you're allowed to feel frustration, anger, anxiety, hurt, sadness, etc. But the message that I particularly really want to get across is that I just don't want you to stay in it. The reason that all of
Mm.
those emotions become depression, anxiety, um, bipolar comes to mind, PTSD, is because we don't feel the feelings. We push them down, suppress them. They fall into our muscles in our body. We don't drain our muscles or our lymphatic system, which is also clinical. Let me know if you want to know more information about that. And then we're holding on to them and those feelings. And then what happens is um you guys have both seen my workshop, but if you haven't seen my workshop, I'll explain a little bit about what I believe happens in the body that no doctor told me when I went to the doctor for help around this, okay? So my whole body, my back, my shoulder blades, if you didn't know me before, I used to have a really big hunchback. I used to be really bent over. I couldn't find any photos of me doing it. There's only photos of me like once I'm corrected, but
Mm.
I literally held the pain, the hurt, the sadness, frustration, sadness, anger. I said sadness twice, sorry, all in my back. So my mother wound was all behind my solar plexus. So your solar plexus is in your tummy. My mother wound was all in my lower back.
Mm-hmm.
Still can be at times because I have a very wounded relationship with my mother, which I won't go into right now. But then all of the other stuff that had happened and then I had taken on board as my own, people pleasers, if you're listening, this is going to be you. You're probably going to have back issues. And when you go to the doctor and they're like, no, you're fine. Everything's fine. You're not overweight. You're not this. You're not that. So you'll be fine. Everything's fine. Maybe you just need to do more exercise. Maybe you need to eat a bit better. Maybe you just need to, oh, but you're fine. You're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. Turns
Literally
out
I
I have,
right? We've been talking about me too lately with the same exact
yeah, it's the
problems.
same situation, but I had a
Mm.
curve in my back. The chiropractor picked up on that, and I had to recorrect that from like start to finish. I had digestion issues, and I had endometriosis, and I have a hip issue, which my physio had to pick up on, plus all of the crap that I've pulled out with Reiki and all the other healing modalities that I do. And I'm not saying that if I broke my leg, I wouldn't go to the doctor. I actually appreciate that in 2026 we have doctors What I'm saying though is your doctor does not know you the way that you do. And when you get personalized support, you can actually heal these things with a coach or with someone that can support you one on one. And then you can go away from it and continue it on yourself and further it on. Like here tonight, take what you need, leave the rest. Next time you jump on, take what you need, leave the rest. I don't mind. But what I'm trying to say is use Elise and I's very, very different but similar experiences with the Western medical world for you to understand that the Western medical world is not made to heal you, they are made to make money. And while I would still use them to, if I broke my leg, I actually don't have faith unless I have to. I did not really want to go down that tangent, but here we are. Does there anything else you want to add to that? Elise, you're having a coughing fit?
Pardon me. Yeah, I'm just like agreeing with you, but we won't go down about my health stuff today. But I agree. I'll just agree with you and say that for the longest time, I've been trying to get help, and before I even knew this work, and so it sort of comes back to where they, um, that book, The Body Keeps Score. Like, because I've been trying to get the right help for 40 years of my life and not trying to get, not getting it, not getting the right answers, or maybe getting some little pieces along the way, but not the exact right answer. Um, it now makes sense as to why I needed to begin this work to begin with, that I do, because if I didn't, where would my health be if I didn't fall into health and wellness coaching and all of the things that I now do 6 years ago? How unwell would I be if I didn't
Yeah.
do it?
You know what blows my mind, Elise? And we've my throat chakra is like, not today.
Yeah. A
Um,
higher force is like, girls, that's enough.
you know what blows my mind with this conversation is that healing and spirituality is so frowned upon in so many ways, especially for mums.
Yeah.
Like we're called witches, we're called this, we're called whatever, whatever, whatever. I don't care. But when you experience this level of like ignorance from people who are supposed to help you, it's almost
Yeah.
like there's nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I
Um,
feel like anyone that actually is in this kind of journey is very much in a similar way that they've
mm.
tried not to go against society, but they have come back there because nothing else
Yeah.
works.
And so okay, so we want to get back to like why calm is a state, not an actual feeling.
Yes,
So,
yes.
um, we've gone on a wild tangent, but yeah, talking about how the body keeps score, um, like I think my body has kept score, and at one point yours was keeping score too, which is what you were trying to sort of say about getting the right help and support, whether it be through medical mainstream help or through spirituality or through a coach like Mel and myself, because um like yeah, where would I have been if I didn't fall down? Like I always ask myself, where would you be if you didn't do this work now? Where would your children be? Where would you be? What would you be doing? Where would my health be? That's wild to me because, when I started this work, I was so unwell, so depleted, so dysregulated. And now calm is like the body keeps score. Yes. So that's the one I'm trying to talk about. Yeah. Um, but it's so interesting to me that, yeah, like if I hadn't have done this work, like first to get to a calm state, you have to do a lot of work with the right support to get there. Well, I had to personally. Um, and I don't think it's always because I think we have to remember that the feelings need to be felt sometimes, like you were just saying before. But to reach that state of being, it comes from within us. Like, and it has to be something that you gain support for because, as we were saying earlier, we were once teaching mothers to be cold, and now we're teaching mothers to be calm and connected, myself and Mel included. So, how do we learn to do something that we've never been taught to do before? You know? Like, I think I've said this before that I was taught my whole life that all my feelings and emotions were dramatic, sensitive, too sensitive, over the top. And so no wonder was living in a state of constant dysregulation. But for me, it was anxiety, um, just constant, like a feeling of needing to escape my own thoughts and feelings because I didn't know how to feel them safely without being told that they were wrong or that I shouldn't feel them. And we've been
Yeah.
conditioned to not feel them. So when people tell you that calm is possible, maybe not all the time, you're not going to always be calm. We need to remind mums that too. Sometimes you will still have moments where you're not calm or you need to be firm or you're setting boundaries or the routine is chaos, or you go to the shops
I'm
and they're
gonna get
kind of,
bananas because no one will listen. Ah!
yeah,
The other day I was like, ah!
yeah. Um, so sometimes you will have those
But can
moments.
I interrupt you? Can I
Yeah,
interrupt you?
go.
Now, when I do it, when I do lose my bananas now, it's less shaming. Before, when I lost my bananas, it was very like a lot of shame that I felt I
Mm.
wasn't doing would be projected onto the children. Whereas I
Mm.
realize now that it's like more, it's less shame and just, I feel like you're not listening to me and I need you to listen to me because this is really important. Or
Yeah,
I'll yell for like a second, you're not doing the thing that I need you to do so we can get this done. But then it's not shaming them in the way that I was once shaming them. Does that make sense? Because I feel like
yeah,
shame and anger and frustration and hurt are like a really, really low vibrational feeling.
yeah.
And sometimes if we stay there, it can lead to depression, right?
Mm. Do you want to tell me a bit more about that shame? Like, was that a feeling you think you were carrying within yourself, like because you wanted to be achieving or attaining a certain thing, but you weren't quite there yet? Is that what you were trying to explain that you were feeling, or do you want to
No,
talk
like
more
as in
about?
like no, like when my kids weren't being perfect kids, if there's such a thing,
Mm.
before I would shame them
Yeah.
and project my feeling of them not being right or perfect
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't doing said thing.
Okay, so like example would be like I said, the child on the news climbing up the counter. And
Yeah, so
your
uh
perception of a child behaving correctly in public would be that the child stands next to mum, doesn't climb up the counter because that's not the right behavior to do.
yeah,
And so
so then
then
in
you
the
would have,
car, yeah,
then
in
it
the
would have,
car later, I would have been like, "You don't do that. That's so embarrassing." Blah blah blah, and like
mm,
projected the shame onto the
totally been
child.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, oh my God, that was so hard for me. People are so fucked in this world.
Mhm.
Hopefully
Yeah.
there's no children that can't be sworn around.
Oh, sorry.
Um,
Um, so now, like, let's talk about because I know what I do, and you can ask me the same in return, what like I would do. So, say, for example, I've lost my crap or you've lost your crap. Um, old Mel, how would you feel like after the event? So you've gone in the car, you've lost your marbles at them, you get home, then what happens? How is Mel feeling an hour later, 2 hours later? Even 10 minutes after you've lost your marbles.
I think I've only ever lost my marbles at Glen Out.
No, but like, say, like when you're like carrying the shame and you get in the car and you project onto your
Oh,
kids.
right, right,
Okay, so we
right.
lose our crap, which we do sometimes. Like, I sometimes want to say I feel like I'm lecturing my kids when I'm not trying to be like, I'm not trying to parentify you, but can you please listen?
I'm not trying to
Um,
parent you, but can you listen? You are trying to
I'm,
parent.
I'm not trying to parent you too much, but like, can I parent you a little bit?
Okay, so to answer your question, I feel like I know where you're going with this. Okay, so I won't give you a day, but like recently
No,
I
like
did,
just a rough example. It doesn't
yeah,
have to be
yeah.
specific.
Recently I lost my bananas at one of my children because they're real mouthy right now. Like, the toddler
Same.
3-year-old that knows everything. I feel like that comes back a bit as I get a bit older.
But
The
now they're like a
mouthy,
preteen that's like, nah, bruh.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
like they're just
And
cooler than you, and you're like, do you know what generation I grew up in? We're the cool ones. Like, you're not cool.
and
I'm
because
cool.
we're millennials and we really haven't grown up, well, I haven't.
And we
I'm
also
like,
have that, like, don't tell me what to do attitude. Well,
yeah,
you know that I
yeah,
have that. I'm like, do you know
yeah.
who I
Sorry about that,
am?
guys. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so where we're going with this, where Elise wants me to go with this, and where
Okay,
things
so
do go as a parent.
what would old Mel have done after? So you said like you might get in the car and you might have been like, um, that's not how we behave, blah 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 blah. Which totally not shaming you. I've totally self-aware that
Yeah,
I've done
no.
that a
So
hundred
I'm
times.
I'm trying to this is taking me like this is obviously like coaching in itself, right? Um
Yeah.
so I lose my bananas at my child because they're mouthy, right? And then I like go to them, I like in the middle or at the end of my losing my shit, I go, I just need a minute to sort myself out. Or because I am very much talking about regulation all of the time, I just need to regulate myself will be like
Hmm.
part of the like
Okay.
the anger. And then I'll like use fresh air, use music, use food and hydration,
Yeah.
play literally any of those,
Mm.
depending on what I have available and what's happening. And I'll come back and I'll be like, okay, I'm sorry. Look them
Yeah.
in the eyes and be like, I should not have acted like that. That behavior was not
Yeah.
appropriate. And then reconnect. So I've like,
I know you've gone silent all of a sudden. I can't hear.
repaired,
Now I
reconnect,
can
and then
hear.
I learn to do
Oh,
this,
it's
and
like
it
it's
does
caught
help.
up all of a sudden. Okay,
Right.
keep going. Sorry. It like
Um,
silenced you and then went blah, 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 blah.
the recording's gonna be fun. We might have to wrap
Great.
this up soon too.
Yeah.
Um, so oh my God. So my absolute hate and time for this to happen is actually before school. I
Mm.
hate losing my shit before school and then having to repair like quickly and then wrap it up and then like, bye, have a good day.
See you later.
Fuck you. Yeah, like I
Off
feel
you
like
go.
yeah, I feel like my mum used to always get cranky in the morning and then be like, fuck you, and then I'd hate her for the rest of the
But you
day.
know what? Would there be repair wouldn't have probably
No,
happened based on
never,
our
never,
conversations that we both know
never.
about each other's life.
Yeah. So
But
like
old Mel, would she have done the repair or would she have been like how would your so when we say calm is a state, not an actual feeling, because when we so my where I'm going with this is I know for a fact me if I got dysregulated my whole afternoon, I was like, I can't. I'm either tired
yeah,
afterwards. I used to be like so emotional afterwards. I would feel
and I'd play victim too. I don't know about
shaky.
you, but I'd play
Yeah.
victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like calling Daniel going, this kid's done this, blah, blah, blah. Which you're
Yeah.
allowed to like tell someone. I'm not saying don't tell someone you're feeling that way. You should totally tell someone, whether it's your husband, a friend, or Mel or I.
Coach. A
Yeah.
coach.
Yeah, coach, you should totally tell someone what you're going through, what you're feeling, what your child did. And specifically, like Mel and I have that background in working with children and child development that we could probably even help you with whatever the child is doing. But even with that knowledge, I still struggled with the behaviors of my child even though I could work with any other kid, because I was wanting, similar to you, the perfect child, because I knew all this knowledge of how to work with, and I can work with any other kid. Why can't you do it? Is what my brain used to do to me. And then I would feel like so, I would carry the shame inside, the guilt inside. I would just beat myself up so much. And then I would see, back to what you were saying about being on social media. the, I used to be like so beat up about the posts I would see, because I'd be like, well, I just want to be like her. And I used to seek like external things, not internal things. Like maybe if I just dressed like other mums, I'd feel better about myself. Maybe if I, but like, doesn't matter if I wear what I'm wearing today or an activewear set or whatever fancy Louis Vuitton outfit, I'm still going to feel the same way inside my body, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
the external sources, whether it be substance or the external things we seek for our body, whatever that might be. Like I'm not saying you shouldn't do things that make you feel good about your body, but anything of those external things, like just going, even sometimes when I'm like, I need another coffee, it's because I need another thing to help me get through the day, right? Like I need another thing. And it almost gives your brain and body that same sort of dopamine or energy hit that like sugar and caffeine does give you, right? So I would always be craving these things, and I was literally living off like multiple Red Bulls and multiple coffees a day, and then wondering why I'm in a state of dysregulation, in a state of anxiety, in a state of stress, because I've never felt safe to feel or been told that my feelings were normal to feel. To even say out loud was like a thing for me. I was then seeking everything outside of myself and nothing from within. And so when I talk about calm is a state, and for me now that like I'm not saying I don't become dysregulated at my child ever. I'm saying that I do sometimes, and I would tell Mel when I do it, or Mel would tell me, I'm going to get dysregulated at my bird in a
I can't
minute.
even hear it. I can't even
Oh,
hear
you
it.
totally can't. See, today you and Tamsin were saying you couldn't hear it, and I'm like, he's so loud to me. So certain things still trigger me, like sensory noise, too much noise.
Yeah, I think noise is a big one. And I know Kim and I have spoken about noise as
Oh,
well.
some noise for me is okay, but certain noises, I'm like,
So
no.
so like we've been talking about birds spiritually for a couple of weeks now. And
Yeah.
it's so interesting how triggered I am
When you hear my
by
bird, when you
the
do hear it.
loud, like I wonder if we should get like the frequency monitor and see if it's like a high, good frequency or a not.
Yeah.
Birds are just one of those things that just like
Yeah.
literally like vibrate through me. It's
It's
so
just,
weird.
I think it's because it's like a sudden sharp noise.
Yeah,
Anyway,
yeah.
back to
All
the
right.
state of calm, because we will need to go soon. We've gone, it's nearly 9 o'clock. But
Yeah.
I think for me, it is about that having the tools to regulate and be more regulated most of the time. So
Yeah.
imagine that state that I just described was the only state I was ever in.
Yep.
I never, calm was not attainable for me. So when mums tell me
Yeah.
that it doesn't feel achievable, I totally understand them, because I once
Yeah, me
felt that
too.
too.
Yeah.
So, um, the all I knew what to do was like hope and pray they would go to bed so that I could just go cry in the bathroom, because I couldn't cope with like I was so wound up, but it was because I carried guilt, shame, judgment, didn't know how to express my emotions without feeling afraid that I would be shamed and judged. Like, and the guilt and shame was because I didn't respond in a way I wanted to, or I didn't handle what I did well. But then I also had internal insecurities that were probably already living within me before I became a mum.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then, um, also didn't have any tools to help nourish my body, nourish my mind, nourish myself. So for me, when I say calm is a state of mind, or a state, not a state of mind, sorry, a state of being, it means that most of the time, my habits on a day to day to build the capacity to have calm as a state more often and become more like it's not no longer not attainable for me because I can come back from. I mean, imagine Elise being just only living on Red Bull caffeine, cigarettes, and no emotional safe space to go to, and living with anxiety and depression. And those stimulants or whatever were also fueling the anxiety because my body was literally like this.
Yeah,
Um,
you've only got cortisol in your body, yeah.
yeah, so no safe space to go to say this is how I'm feeling. No, like, and I
Yeah.
feel like for mums as well, it's really hard to find a safe space to go. I had a hard day as a mum today. Or I lost my shit in the morning before school, but like on my son's birthday, I made him cry last week over a piece of toast. I felt so guilty because I was like, if I had made him cry on another day, I would have been like, you're okay, mate. But on your birthday, like that's a mean mum thing to do. But also eat the toast. But anyway, I'm getting off track here. What I'm trying to say is, um, now I don't feel guilt often about the choices that I make because I've done the work within. And when I become dysregulated, if I've lost my crap in the morning over breakfast or I've whatever the morning routine looks like, for an example, we can repair, reconnect, and regulate. And those things never happened for me as a child or prior in my motherhood journey because I was seeking the perfect, not just child behavior, but mum as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's where it's really hard.
for me, it's not about never having moments like a real human where you feel or snap or get angry, you know. I always say like I'm calm, I'm light, love and light until you mess with me or my child, then I might not be. Like we're human, we're not gonna
All
like
right.
not
All
have
right.
moments. Right. But so yeah,
Exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
if
So,
anything we've said today is helpful for you, Kim, maybe let us know, or if there's something you wanted to share with us before we wrap up tonight. Um, or maybe you are dealing with your family and you can't come off. I understand if you're putting family to bed and doing that routine. Um, maybe you want to share with us in
so
the channel afterwards.
yeah, yeah, of course. All of those things, Kim, you're welcome to share in the chat on here in the chat we've created for the mums that have come on these calls. Before we wrap up, Elise, just
Yeah.
for Kim's thinking, processing, where can mums find you if they are watching the recording?
Yeah. So, as always, if you liked something that was shared on today's call, please reach out to me on Instagram at Elise the Mindfulness Mama. And I am happy to have a chat with you there. I also have a free group called the Calm Mother Code Reset, where I talk about the things I just said about building that capacity to the calm state. Or you can reach out to me about Nourish Her and the Calm Mother Code coaching if you would like more in-depth support. Thank you. And Mel, do you want to
Yay!
share where mums, if they're listening to the replay, can find you also?
Thanks, Elise. So I'm Mel Marie Stapleton on Facebook or Instagram. Come find me. Check out my link tree. Book a free call if you wish. Otherwise, we'll chat to you soon.
Thank you very much. And thanks again for joining us, Kim. It's nice to have you on. Just